I remember I wrote a book on the prophetic ministry some years back. And in that book, I mentioned the different types of prophets that God often raised in the territory. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is that the key to being functional in any area where God has placed you is understanding the uniqueness of your assignment or the uniqueness of your purpose in that place. Now, let's look at what I'm trying to say. When God calls you into the prophetic ministry, it's not every prophet that is actually called to be an individual prophet. And what do I mean by that? There are prophets who are called to minister to individuals. They are called to speak to people as touching their lives, as touching things that they are struggling with individually. They can see your past, they can see your present, they can probably see whatever you're struggling with and give you direction about that. But you see, there are some prophets that their assignment is not individualistic, it's territorial. All right, there are those that God sends to organizations, they are sent to kings. There are prophets that operate with leaders, that is, they serve as eyes for those who God has called into leadership. An example are the prophets of David. Even though David himself was a seer, he was a prophet, God also raised people like Nathan and Dan to function and Gad rather, to function with him in their capacity as prophets, to help him see those things that he couldn't have seen without the ministry of the prophet. That's how God operates when it comes to ministry. And the fact is, if God has called you as a territorial prophet and you begin to seek to function as an individual prophet, you will be missing the mark. You will be functioning outside of your assigned place in the kingdom. And what will happen to you is either you begin to see wrong visions, you become subjected to witchcraft spirit, to the spirit of witchcraft. You begin to walk in delusions and things that are contrary to scriptures. You veer off the path of life, because that's not your assigned place in Christ. Then there are those that God has called to be individual prophets. If they don't want to function as territorial prophets, if they don't want to function as individual prophets and begin to function as territorial prophets, they may want to see vision for a land, or they want to start functioning with some certain leaders. They want to begin to function in one area or another that is contrary to their placement. Then it is easy for them to veer off the path of life and begin to walk contrary to their assignment. That is why wherever God has placed you in the body, you need to learn to stick with that place. Stay in your place of assignment. Stay in your natural habitat, in that divinely ordained space where God has placed you to function. Don't try to be like anybody else. Don't try to function where everybody or how everybody is functioning. Just stay in your uniqueness and release the gifting of God in your life to your generation. I call you blessed.